everyone, this is Swapnil Mathur for ThinkDigit.com, back to doing camera videos for you guys. So today I'm going to start off with the Nikon Coolpix S6400. Some time ago, a few months ago actually, Nikon launched some 17 new models into the Indian market. So they weren't necessarily brand new models, they were upgrades and so a few cameras were new. Main highlight of that launch was the S6500. One, it had brilliant endorsements and whatnot. But what got missed in the limelight was the S6400. Now this is a very slim camera. Compared to the S6500 especially, it's very thin. It's about an inch or 1.1 inches in thickness. On this side, however, it's about 3 inches wide and about 2 inches tall. So it's incredibly compact. It fits into your pockets well. It fits into my pockets well. And the reason it's so slim and small is because Nikon's done away with all the buttons on the back. You only have two buttons here, a playback and a scene mode, and everything else is done courtesy this touchscreen on the back. This is a 3-inch touchscreen, and once you power on the camera, you get to play with it. So in terms of specs, it has a 16 megapixel backside illuminated sensor. The sensor measures 1 by 2.3 inches, which is the smallest you will find in a point and shoot. We don't expect Nikon to have put in a bigger sensor, given that this camera costs about 11,495 rupees, roughly. Then along with that, the optics are essentially 25 to 300 millimeter lens that has an aperture of f3.1 to 6.5 on the wide end, on the telephoto end. But the lens does have image stabilization, so there's that good part. Also, what Nikon started doing lately is giving their point and shoot cameras one ED element. So ED is extra dispersion. It helps with completely curbing ghosting, flaring, etc., etc. And we've shot with this camera extensively. This is part of the review as well, where we found that the purple fringing on this, the flaring on this is extremely well controlled. So the optics on the S6400 are actually pretty good. So shooting with the S6400 is actually pretty nice. Because of the touchscreen, you have access to a lot of the controls, and the touchscreen is pretty good too. So you can just slide like that if you want to do exposure compensation. The buttons are decently sized, as you can see, so you don't have to twiddle. You don't have to make those very precise taps on the screen, and the screen isn't as sensitive as you would expect it to be, or if you think that it will be as sensitive as, let's say, an iPhone or an S4, it's not. And the reason for that is, if it was that sensitive, there's a very good chance that you'd be making changes to your settings just by accidentally touching the screen. You don't want that. So there are just two physical buttons on the back, the scene mode and the playback mode. And the scene mode allows you to select what sort of mode the camera should shoot in: auto, scene, special effects, or smart portrait. It's pretty self-explanatory. And then there's a dedicated button for movie recording. The movies are recorded in full HD format at a frame rate of 30 frames per second, which is pretty standard for a point and shoot. Now, if you're wondering about what else a touchscreen can do, it can also function as a touch shutter. You just point where you want it to focus and it will shoot. And once it has shot the image, it will give you the option of adding quick effects. I'll show you that. Taken an image, add quick effects, okay. And then you have a choice of about 30 effects that you can apply to an image. You can only apply one effect to an image at a time. You can't do layering of various effects, which is okay. You don't want to kill your image. But yes, and you can also scroll up like this if you want. So yeah, there you go. 30 effects in total. Along with that, the menu on this camera is completely redone. It's been optimized for touch, and we absolutely love it. All the options are right there. It's very easy to navigate, and we really wish that Nikon would use the same menu system, same layout in other cameras as well. Because that's the one problem we've had with the Nikon cameras, that the menu systems are pretty bad. But this is so nice. You know exactly where to find what. So which is pretty cool. It also has a wind reduction filter for anybody who wants to do video. And yeah, so that's about it. The Nikon Coolpix S6400. When we did our image test of this camera, we found that in terms of imaging, it matches the performance of the S6500 pretty closely. And the only reason is it loses out is essentially because this does not come with a built-in Wi-Fi chip. And some people would think that this is not built as well as the S6500 is. So, but leaving that aside, this camera does cost, it's under 12,000 rupees. And for that price, you're getting 16 megapixels of imaging, a BSI sensor, 12x optical zoom, and the ability to shoot full HD video using a touch enabled interface that actually works pretty nicely. So we think it's a really good deal. This camera is pretty nice. It's one of the few point and shoot cameras that has managed to impress us as much as it has. So yeah, that's the Coolpix S6400 for you. Thanks.